Yeah, I'll eat my cleat.
Alrighty, on that note, hello and welcome back to the For the Badge podcast. You know what time it is. We got more games always coming thick and fast. The Carabao Cup was this week. Even the U.S. men's national team played this week. I almost forgot it was an international break because of all the fixture congestion, but we also have the FA Cup coming up, so that's where we're at right now. Go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and get that notification bell. All right. Well, I do like to go in chronological order. We'll go ahead and start with Southampton and Newcastle. Now, did anybody catch any highlights? I know we may not have caught this one. It is the No One Cares Cup, but I actually watched. I was watching one of our subscribers on the channel is a Newcastle fan, and he was doing a watch along,
No
and
way.
so I actually just happened to notice while I was watching the game, and so I went in and tuned into his watch along. It was pretty cool. Mr. Proudlock is his name. The channel is JD Proudlock. It was pretty cool to watch that. I'll make
That's
his
awesome, man.
comments. Yeah, they were Newcastle fans were pretty excited about this one.
Well,
Even
it's
though
it's a trophy. They haven't won a
Well,
trophy in a
Newcastle, I was
long
about to say
time.
Newcastle's gunning for anything right now. Yeah, they're trying to make a name.
they made tough work of it though. Southampton, as Lewis knows, no pushover at home. Uh, you know, I gotta throw little knives at any
Little
chance
dart.
I get. At least right now. At least they're right before the game, the eve of the round one. You know.
So I take it that Ward Prowse didn't have a free kick like right outside the box, and that's why
No,
Newcastle
Newcastle were definitely smarter than that. Southampton were playing on the break. They looked decent for like one spell. They had Newcastle kind of on the ropes a bit, and then I think halftime came and kind of slowed them down a bit. Um, Newcastle just defend too much, and of course Bruno Guimaraes, who is a phantom injury. They just leaked that into the press. Guimaraes is injured. He's going to be out. He never went out, so he did his thing. He had a good game. Their goal was nice. Newcastle. I thought they've been struggling to score recently, but they got one. It was an important one. They probably should have had another. But Southampton's never winning at St. James. These Carabao Cup semifinals are two legs for some reason.
Oh yeah, forgot about
Is there away goals or is it just?
I don't think there's a way.
Aggregate.
Is
I
it
think it's
classic?
straight depends.
Is it classic UEFA?
It straight depends.
Yeah.
Wow.
If Southampton win 1-0, it's straight to penalties.
Wow.
But
I need it.
there's no way. There's no way Southampton. I don't see it, man.
I don't know, man.
They've
I
had
mean,
a
if you
little bit of
got
a
1-0 at
resurgence.
St. James, if you got 1-0 at St. James, you know. It's
No.
possible.
It was 1-0 at St. Mary's.
Oh, I thought you said it was at St. James. Yeah,
No, it's done. This tie's
yeah,
done.
that's done. That's
I'm
done.
watching this goal get disallowed right here. It's pretty. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love VAR?
wow.
Levar. Cool.
Yeah, there you go. It was the right call though. It was offside.
It is. He was offside.
His shoelace was offside, but that's the
Yeah.
standard league.
The bottom stud of his cleat was offside.
It's the standard league. It's the standard league, But to your point about them really needing it, this was the full team from both of them. I feel like especially for Southampton, would be crazy to win a cup.
Well, I figure at this point you're trying to just. I mean, you actually want to give it some effort now because you're like, oh well, we might as well. It's no longer like, we got a chance. Now it's like, we might as well.
Well, they're Southampton's bottom of the league.
Well, yeah, but also, I mean, for Newcastle, just to say, hey, we now have a chance to win a cup, so let's go for it.
Yeah, why not? Speaking of teams who, go ahead.
No, I look at that. I'm gonna take the Roberto Martinez, the guru of bottom of the table trophy winning. I mean, Southampton could really pull out a shock, man. I mean, the cards are on the table. Southampton beat City. to get to this point. They just lost to Newcastle, which means they're going to pull a miracle out in St. James's. And then just for history purposes, they'll beat United, in Wembley. And then, it's all good.
Yeah, I mean,
it'll be the English.
Hell, are you?
It's the English version of Real Madrid's run in the Champions League last year.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Ward Prowse just won't let them lose.
Won't let him do.
Yeah. Speaking of teams that are definitely going to lose, Forest, it's done. It's done.
Yeah, that was 3-0, right?
It was 3-0 at Forest.
Yeah.
Just when I want to be able to hate on Bruno.
Yeah.
Just when he's like kind of sloppy, he doesn't have a great game. He pops up and scores the third goal, and it's like, okay, I can't even why does this keep happening? I don't like this. Like he's not. I don't think he's that great, but he just he does this and that, one or two things in the game, and Man United fans are just up his ass. Like he's
Same thing as Casemiro.
Ever.
Same thing.
That's actually interesting. When he came onto the scene for United, it was like, whoa, okay, maybe this guy's legit. But I think that, especially with not only the talent, but the managerial skill, I mean, you really have to be special to still stand out. Like, what makes you great in the beginning is not going to make you great a year later, because teams are going to figure it out. And I think that's what's happening a little bit with him, because there at the beginning, it was like he was scoring almost every week, it seemed like.
Penalties, sir. Penalties.
Hey, a goal's a goal, right? Goal's a goal.
It was 1 or 2 seasons ago too, but United had the most VAR overturned and/or awarded goals in the entire league to keep them afloat. Remove those and they lose some. They're like 12th place.
I think they're still going for that this season at Old Trafford. That's like
the FA protecting United. No,
like a box they're trying
never.
to check.
Yeah, like a box. They're trying. Right. No, it kept them in European football. They would not be there without VAR.
Yeah.
I won't. They did win 3-0, so we.
It's Forest.
It is Forest, and Forest is exceptionally terrible, even by their very low standards.
They're very low standards.
And it was Forest at home, so whoa.
Yeah.
You would at least expect Forest to put up a fight, but I saw highlights and I'm like, well, maybe they're just fatigued. Something.
United didn't even break them down really in the first half. The Rashford goal, Rashford just ran by 2 of them.
Yeah.
And it's another one of those Rashford runs where it's like, oh, he's so good at running past people. Well, yeah, I mean, this one was just like the Wolves goal where United beat Wolves 1-0 off a thing where he tried to dribble in between 2 guys and it bounced around off of their legs and trickled in front of him, luckily. Just like this goal had a little bit of that in it too. I'm not taking anything away from Marcus Rashford. Don't get me wrong. He's like the only player in the United team that I wouldn't mind having at Arsenal. But, there was an element of luck about this goal, the first goal. But, I mean, Forest were never in it.
Right.
Speaking of Rashford, I saw an interesting tweet. Something about since the World Cup, he's got the most goals in league play in any league since the World Cup. And I'm like, well, I believe it. I mean, he's been on one heck of a heater.
I think he's scored. I mean, he's got to be on a 3-3, 4-4. He's got it.
And he has the greatest holding midfielder in the world to pass to him.
Stop it.
I mean,
stop it.
You have to recognize the greatness. That man came back from a suspension and said, "You will see me."
Stop it.
You will see me.
He had a good tackle. He had a single good tackle in the game.
Greatest tackle ever.
The greatest holding midfielder in the league to date.
Oh my
Stop
God.
it.
No, this one. Yeah. I just, again, you gotta give credit to any 3-0 win. Veghorst was okay. It's good to see him. It's good for them to see him
bag the goal.
But
do you see Newcastle taking United in the final?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think
No.
it's a fantastic
And
game.
the reason they will win
South
Manchester is because they have the greatest holding
Hold it,
midfielder
stop
in
it!
the world.
Stop it!
Enough. They have the greatest.
They'll get a
center back
trophy. Yeah.
currently playing in the league. The
The butcher
greatest
of
center
Manchester.
back.
If United win a trophy, I'm gonna throw up. Oh my god.
You
I need
must
Newcastle to
recognize
win.
it.
I need Newcastle to win
We
that.
need
God, yeah, dude, I
Newcastle.
hate United. I hate Ten Hag, so I hate United. I hate everything about them. I just hate the club. Like I've not looked at one United player and been like, yo, I would take him at Chelsea.
You would take
Or-
Marcus Rashford at Chelsea.
I
I'd
would
take
not take
Marcus
Marcus.
Rashford.
I would not take Marcus
Yes,
Rashford
you
Really?
at Chelsea.
Yes, you
No.
would. Yes,
No,
you
I would not.
Dude can
No, I
put
would not.
in put
I can
Yes,
think
you
of
would.
10
goals,
other
man.
people. I can think of 10 other people at the top of my head to sign before Marcus
Who
Rashford in the
scored
league.
goals at Chelsea?
Yeah, exactly. I would take him.
Who
He
scored
scored.
goals?
Mud Dog's gonna score our goals at Chelsea. I don't need to.
Well,
hear
yeah,
it.
he is going to. Yeah.
He is.
Who
Mud Dog,
can
baby.
hold the boots of Casemiro in that midfield? There is no one. Even when Conte comes back, he won't even.
Hey, man.
Hey,
touch him.
late
Casemiro
February.
might make Chelsea better.
Late February. Hey, and no one. I don't know what Casemiro did to you.
I don't think he
Louis.
would
That is some shade. 1, 2. No, he would not improve our team. You need to
What
stop it.
shade? The media said he's the greatest holding midfielder on the planet. So I'm just gonna buy in now.
I'm just
Might as well. Might as
just bought
well.
in.
Just gonna buy in now.
Just bought in.
Well, there was another game that same day that was quite exciting. So exciting, I actually dozed off a little bit, to be honest with you. The USA game was late, but I did watch the first half at least. And this Vasquez kid that scored the goal,
Ooh,
he looks decent.
he does.
He looks like one to have an eye on at least. I liked the dude on the left wing as well, the long-haired hippie type.
Colwell or something like that.
Yeah, he
He
looked
was-
good. Look,
Dude was
Yeah.
like just cutting through their defense at times. Couldn't finish, but he was
No.
cutting through the defense.
I didn't mind number 21 either. That was playing in the Tyler Adams role. I didn't
Yeah.
mind him.
Was that Gressel?
I have no idea what their names
I think it
are.
was Gressel. I watched, of course, for Slonina, and dude had one hell of a save.
Yeah, the double save where he had
That
to turn
was
around.
pretty awesome. And then he took a kick to the head, and yeah,
Hey, that's true Chelsea fashion.
yeah, he already got injured. You know.
Have a great save and then go out injured.
Yeah.
I also was reading something today that Chelsea doesn't plan on loaning him out because he might be at worst keeper 2 next year.
Well, we might not. It's Mendy, right? Mendy still hasn't re-signed his contract.
Kepa's probably going to be sent too. I think he's 5 years in, isn't he?
He's 18, guys. He's 18
No,
years old.
Kepa has a.
I
a
know.
long contract. No, Kepa
But there's
has
no
a
plan to
long-
loan him right now.
No, Kepa has a long. Kepa will be our goalkeeper 1. We spent way too much money on him to not. Unless we bring in a name, Kepa's going to be it. He will because Mendy hasn't re-signed his contract, so yeah, he will be goalkeeper 2. That's going to be bad.
I
think,
can't take any more Kepa.
The only thing I can really say about the U.S. game,
What a
though,
game.
I think, is I feel like at this point, obviously it's right after the World Cup, but without a coach, like without
Speaking coach, did you
anyone
see
to
the news
build
today?
anything around. No, I didn't.
Ernie Stewart stepped down.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
It's a shambles.
Ernie
turning
Stewart
into
It's
Boilie
stepped down.
Shore.
it's a clearinghouse over there. Yeah, it's Boilie Shore.
The U.S. men's national team were taken after the Bowley Shore.
Todd Bowley's just gonna buy the USA men's national team now. Hey,
Chelsea
they look cute.
Football Club just bought the U.S. national team.
Might as
Frank
well.
Lampard is the new coach of the U.S.
Oh my
Oh,
God!
dear Lord.
He develops midfielders.
I was very disappointed though when they interviewed, I think it was the president or something, I don't know. But anyways, and they were like, yeah, Greg Berhalter is still a candidate for the U.S. national team or something like that. And I'm like, please God, no, I can't do that anymore. I mean, you watch Gino Reyna. do what he did the last 2 matches, and you're like, yeah, we didn't need that in Qatar at all. No, not at all.
Nope.
Nope, didn't
I
need
think
it
with
at
all
all.
this
Score
controversy.
goals.
Yeah, go ahead.
So no one wants to score goals. Why would we bring someone who can put it in?
Yeah, why would we? I think with all the controversy, like, why would we bring Berhalter back? There's no, like, that's just. I think we need a fresh start. Ernie Stewart steps down. Yeah, we just need a fresh start. We got the time, we got players, we got the personnel. I think we just need to find
It should
somebody.
be very attractive, honestly, with the players that we have, plus the players that are in the pool behind them.
Hey, I'll take Jose.
I would too, actually. I don't know how I'd feel about 1-0 against, Costa Rica and 1-0 against Trinidad and Tobago, but win's a win, right?
Are we looking to the U.S. men's national team to play beautiful Arsenal football, to play beautiful Manchester City football? We want the U.S. men's national team to win.
That's it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. A win's
Jose's
a win,
a
right?
winner. That's what he does, unless he goes to Spurs.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
he was about
And
to win.
United. I don't think he won anything at
He
United.
didn't win it. I don't think he did either.
And he won Europa at United, and he
Oh,
won.
he did. He did
and he
win
won
Europa
Cup.
at United.
He won trophies at
We make the joke about can Messi do it on a rainy Tuesday night at Stoke City. Can anyone win a trophy at Tottenham except for the Audi Cup?
Send
No.
Pep. If you want to test him, send Pep. If Pep's the best
If
ever,
Pep can
real
do
test.
it, he's the GOAT.
send Pep.
That's
If Pep's the GOAT.
right there.
If Pep's the GOAT, send Pep.
Oh,
He's already done it.
man.
Yo, sorry, Lewis. Yo, Pep's got
That's
some
a
pep in
test.
his step right now. Yeah, but that's the
No,
test.
you know what? No, never, ever, ever, ever will I support sending any good coach to Tottenham.
Anything
No.
to Tottenham, actually. You know what?
They already had 2
No.
good
I
coaches.
don't even like Pep that much, but I don't dislike him enough to send him to Tottenham.
Yeah,
Okay,
no.
okay. Conte's great, but he's not Pep.
He's not. No.
Jose's great too.
But
Jose.
Conte has won everywhere.
Jose's
as
won
soon
everywhere.
as-
Jose's
what's
won
the dude's
everywhere.
name? Pochettino. Soon as he left there, he won a trophy. So I'm just saying, man. Yeah, it's the team.
Jose maybe is, I think Pep is still higher than
Well, yeah,
Jose.
Pep's here. Jose's like
But
there.
Jose, I have a lot of respect for Jose Mourinho, even though I don't like him as a person very much.
He's horrible.
Like, I legitimately cannot think of a
Um,
coach other than Pep that could potentially win at Spurs at this point. And
I
even
would
then,
send
I'm not so
Ancelotti.
sure.
I would test Ancelotti.
Ooh, Carlo, yeah.
He wins everywhere.
He's won almost everywhere he's
Except for Everton.
Ooh. Well, I mean, no one's winning at Everton, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's where you go to like.
Did he have Lukaku Everton?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
He sent
No,
him
I don't
away.
think so. No, he's at United at that point.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he was. He had
Okay.
he had
Calvert Lewin and
yeah, he had Lewin.
I think he had Gailey Alley too, didn't he?
He did.
Ooh.
Yo, speaking of Everton, man, my boy Frankie catching the axe. I felt bad. I shed a tear. I was sad, but I get it. I understand it.
You like?
But that's not the problem though. I mean,
he also can keep him up.
No.
Oh, they're gonna get smashed by y'all. Y'all are going to I predicted like a 4-0, like 5, just no mercy, bloodbath.
Love to see
if y'all play like y'all did against United against Everton right now, Saka might tie Haaland for the golden boot, bro.
In that game?
Bad. It's gonna get bad.
Well, Everton's about to have a fire sale too.
Yo, yeah, and they're about to get raided. Like, I'm surprised if we don't pick up Pickford. Yo, Boyley, I've already said it. Pick up Pickford. Get my boy out of Everton onto the Chelsea squad. He's a England national. We fill another role, which we need. If we can't get Rice, we go for Pickford. We ship off Kepa, and it fills both roles for us. It's the move to make. I'm telling you right now, buy Jordan Pickford. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway. Fire sale at Everton.
Well, Anthony Gordon now is for like $40 million.
He went down in price, but I heard that we got denied the bid for him.
He should go down in price.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Has he
But
played?
yeah.
He hasn't even played recently.
He's been on the bench for a while.
Yeah.
Frankie don't like him.
Yeah. Well, I've heard that.
I'm
Like,
glad we didn't buy him.
Everything has to be so. You get fined for this and this and this and this.
Right,
and
yeah. If you show up to practice late, you owe me $1,000. It's like, yo, so the players nowadays, like Jose said it best. When he was coaching Frank Lampard at 23, Frank Lampard and John Terry
Saw
were
that.
men. When
that.
he's coaching 23-year-olds now, they are not men. They are boys. Like those are pampered boys now. Like those, the Prem back then when he came up and was a player and everything, that was not the game. Like it's a completely different game. And I call it the old guard for a reason. Those Steven Gerrard did it at Villa. He ruled it with an iron fist, and he wanted it to be his Villa. Like he got the axe. Like they just don't.
Well, you know,
You're
the
starting to
funny-
sound like old man yelling at the clouds at this point.
You know,
Hey man, I'm telling you,
it's funny because
Game's
your
changed.
point is super valid, but it also shows why there's a disconnect in a lot of these traditional manners and traditional teams, because you got like Frank is struggled, Terry struggled,
Terry
a
struggled.
lot of guys, and the reason they're struggling is because it's that Michael Jordan syndrome. I can only use a basketball one because that's the one that I've seen most regularly, where you were so great that you struggle to bring other guys to your level. And I think
Yeah.
if you're
Well, no
really
one wants
good,
to work that hard.
well, and the thing about
Well,
it
it's
is
not even that. You don't
they don't
see
even know.
you can't see the talent. Like because you're so great, you think that the talent that's under that you're looking at is never going to be at that level. So you pick the wrong talent as well.
Well, in addition to that, being great means you didn't actually have to work as hard as other people on specific things. So, like for example, like imagine, and I suspect Kevin De Bruyne will be a manager somewhere because he got his badges and he was studying. There's no way if he's looking at somebody expecting them to pass a ball like him. Like, there's no way he can expect someone to do that. Because if you're expecting someone to pass a ball like you and you are you, like you're one of one. Like, so how would you expect? And then the thing is, the work he did to make himself better. I mean, the amount of work that your standard guy would do has to be
Right.
like 20 times that.
Well,
And
right. It's
so
the Kobe. Yeah, it's the Kobe syndrome. I wake up at 5. You wake up at 7. Over the course of 2 years, I have already compounded enough work. You will never catch me.
Ever.
It does not matter if you woke up at 1 every day for the rest of your life. Now you will not catch me.
That's what
And those boys did. And those boys did that. Like Frank, I would imagine. I don't know this 100%, but I would imagine he was first one on the pitch, last one off the pitch. John Terry, same exact thing. It's just a culture that Gerrard, same thing when he was. There's just a culture. Those boys, they had a work ethic to them. They were responsible. But then they had the talent too. Like what you're saying, like no one's gonna score goals like Frank Lampard because he was he's a naturally midfielding goal scoring machine. No one's going to pass the ball like Kevin De Bruyne because he's naturally gifted at doing that, and he put in the work to get better. You're not going to catch him. So no, if he's expecting, oh my God, I hate to say it.
Glaring example, since it's the international break, Thierry Henry was an assistant coach on the Belgian national team and had Romelu Lukaku in front of him.
Taking touches like that?
And there's no way Henry is coaching you and you can't put half of the chances that he got in the goal.
They paid him. They
Sitting 3 yards off the goal line.
If you want to investigate Ivan Toney, I am going to start the petition. Romelu Lukaku was paid to miss that.
And the Steven Gerrard slip of the week, a month and a half later, still goes to Romelu
Lukaku. I love it.
There's no way.
And we might get him back. Oh, you want to talk about Romelu for a second?
He's coming back.
Yo, he's coming back. They denied his loan extension. They're not buying him. He's got to come back.
They denied him.
They denied him. They cut him. They pretty
I'm
much
sure we can find somewhere. Maybe
in the
Genk wants him
stands.
back.
No, he's going to be the
No,
ball boy.
no. What was the one he was at? He wasn't at Genk. He was at
Pals.
Yo,
oh gosh, where was he?
Sell him back to Everton for Pickford. That's all I'm saying. It's written, bro. I'm writing this for you.
That is the perfect
Send
that's
a
the perfect bully trade opportunity.
Aubameyang as a kicker.
Yo, Talk about getting your wage bill down. Send Lukaku and Aubameyang to Everton for Pickford. They need
I'd
goal
be down.
scorers.
They need
Sorta.
goal scorers. They need names. They need players. They need to bring in something. They need fire. They need momentum. We need a goalie.
The question is how soon would Romelu piss off the Everton fans? I would
Name
give
one.
it less than
Name
3
one.
weeks. I would
Name
give it
one.
less than 3 weeks.
The
No,
first time he
game-
shanks
the first
that
game.
inside the 18.
No. I'm talking about after he signed. So we still have like the off season and all that.
Just him.
3 weeks. 3 weeks. He would say, oh, I miss being in Italy or something because that's what he did at Chelsea, and it was like, oh, okay, dude,
Okay, bye,
thanks.
sure.
We just paid $100 million for you, no big deal.
Yeah, bro.
Disgusting.
Big game, but
Absolutely.
we have a big week coming up for us.
Talk about big weeks. Yeah. We got right in front of us, big old FA Cup weekend coming up. And I've heard some people talking about how this tournament's kind of lost its prestige a little. What do you guys think?
I think it's for the purists. I think it's for someone who just enjoys the game itself because, I'm looking down the list of teams here and it's like, I'd love to see Sheffield Wednesday make a run, or even Sheffield United. I prefer Wednesday because I always play with them on FIFA. But I would love to see Sheffield Wednesday find a way to get to Wembley. That's what I mean, and that's kind of what the FA Cup's kind of all about. Is that one little team making a run, sort of like the NCAA basketball tournament. Everybody rallies around that one team that makes a run. That they were the 13th or the 14th seed, or last year it was St. Peter's, the Peacocks, and I think they were a 15 seed. They beat Kentucky and they beat it. They got to the Elite Eight. I think it was the Elite Eight. And everybody rallied around them, and that's kind of what with like Wrexham. People rallying around them. Me personally, I'd love to see like a Sheffield Wednesday. Preston, what is it? Preston North.
Preston North End. That's who we want to make a run.
That's the one we really, really want. So
I think you really did hit the nail on the head there for like the purist statement. It's like for me, like I'm a historian, I studied history. I love history. It's if you know the history of the Prem just a little bit, like or even beyond yourself, like you can have your viewership of the Premier League. Like mine's from 10 to 22, so I have 12 years. So, I have 12 years going on my 13th year of watching the Premier League and being involved in it and immersed in it. But through that, you learn the history of your club, when it's founded, who we've lost to, where we've come from, and all these other teams that have been relegated and promoted and these big shifts. So you do look at some of these teams like, oh, no, hey, man, like, oh, I remember you guys from like 12 years ago. But like, and it's just that. It's just, I think I think it's very much so still an embodiment of that. But I think purist was such a good term to use because, like, I was going to say, it's the history of the league. Like, all in one tournament, it's just the history of the league. That's what it is. But it's the purist wants to watch the FA Cup because you'll never see, the Shrimps play Arsenal anywhere else ever other than, or Oxford. I mean, Jesus, y'all just murdered Oxford, I think. Right? That's
who we played last.
Yeah. So you took it to Oxford. Like, are they cows? Are they bulls?
They're
oxes, obviously. Yeah.
Or Derby County.
Where are you at?
I don't know. My other man's is a cat. And you don't know what's going on down here, man.
The Shrimps have a cat as their
Shrimps have a cat.
I mean, you were talking about being a fan of the Prem since 2010, or whatnot. I remember when Chelsea played Portsmouth, and the other day I saw that Portsmouth was playing Tottenham, and I'm like, okay, come on, Pompey,
Yeah. I remember Portsmouth for sure.
But they went down like 2 or 3 divisions because I think they went into
It's been years.
Oh God, what was it? It was administration for the club itself. Like after that FA Cup run, they went into administration and they dropped like 2 or 3 leagues. And I think that's I mean, that's a sad story, first off. But I think also you see these little teams and just the diehard support for those
All
teams.
these
Like
small
like
town
we're
fans.
like we're big fans. Like there's no
For the
question
badge.
about it.
Yeah.
But those people live, breathe, die that team in their town.
Oh yeah. Like
You
you have
know?
to be a for the badge fan to be like, oh no, Walsall is about to take it to Leicester on Saturday. Like and show up for the game and buy a ticket and spend your money and spend your time. What?
Leicester are going down.
Leicester are going down.
Go Walsall.
Walsall, baby.
Trash, bro.
You know, we need to do like a we need to look and see what all these mascots are. Maybe there's one that we should just cheer for based on mascot. You know, like the shrimps.
Based on, the shrimps, baby. I'm
Shrimps.
telling you, it's the most random one I saw whenever I
That's
was
how
playing
it
FIFA this
should be.
year.
That's how
But-
you turn games.
Starting with the FA Cup, though, if we're gonna keep the chronological order, Jake Lewis, first matchup. Or you want to save it? Do you want to go backwards for the FA? Because that's
No,
a pretty big one.
Let's
make
get it. Let's go.
There's
You
no
wanna-
other.
We
wanna dive in?
waited
No.
for
You wanna
this
dive in?
for
All right,
so
we're
long.
diving in. Yo,
There's no
both
other
teams. Both teams, I feel like are gonna come out full squad. I don't think there's going to be oh no, we're letting up for this one. If anything, I think Arsenal don't go full squad against Everton because they know they're about to just no manager, really no not a good. Like I don't see y'all going full strength against Everton. I think y'all bench some of those guys. Let the B team get you. I would hope for a 6-0 if y'all were full strength. I'm still going to predict a 3-0. But I think you play some B team guys, let them sit.
City 3-0. I like that prediction.
And then you take it to City in this tomorrow to show them, like, hey, like, I think y'all do that. I think you switch the lineup to take it to City and rest the guys when you have to play back in the league.
It's funny. A quick thing on the FA Cup is I think the reason that the FA Cup has lost some of its luster is while it's true I was in England and I saw people in the small towns go to the stadiums and it was a really good time.
That's awesome.
They give you free pints and stuff like that when you're a Yank, and it's fun.
But need to go.
The thing that I find is that not England has one too many fixtures, but the second thing is the Carabao Cup actually steals a little bit from that. And I think that the existence of the Carabao Cup creates an issue where the big teams, even the big teams, can't field enough players for that because you have to. At this point in the season, the big teams are like, okay, we need our players healthy for League or Europa, and then FA Cup. I mean, it starts the levels start before now, but the big teams enter the tournament at this time, and the big teams are like, okay, well, where do we fit in? So then there's sort of a neglect of if I'm challenging for anything of value, I'm not going to play my best team, so I'm going to lose to the Shrimps and the Ox and whoever because I'm trying to. If I win the
City,
FA
you know what? We're just gonna lose the City. We got UEFA to worry about. We're just gonna lose the City. I like it. I like this, Lewis. I like where you're going.
Because how much money do I get for winning that? If they win the FA Cup, I think what's the pot, like 3 million, something like that. It's not something super significant. No. Whereas if I advance one round in the Champions League, that's tens of millions of dollars. I mean, my priorities are really simple. Even if it's Europa, you still get more money than that. And I mean, then I get
$4.5 million.
Yeah, right. I get seen. I'm getting international fans. The FA Cup would have got me that, but because you've literally seen me play in 1,000 cups, you're like, well, what game is this? So your casuals will struggle with that. And I think the thing is, this happened at one of the games where the fans, I think it was at City, where the fans were protesting about the prices of the game. And so at this point, the stadiums have to cost more because if I'm running them all the time, that's more maintenance. So it just costs money, and there's no reason because then you really want, I mean, to get those smaller teams money. You want the Arsenals and the Chelseas and the cities to go to those places because that's the only time those people will ever show up in your city. And so you try to do that, but I mean, it's oversaturated with too many games. I understand it as a business, but I think they miss some on that. But I mean, if we're thinking about business, the big business is getting to the Premier League. And my segue to the Premier League is if we're looking at this FA Cup game, and Jake and I kind of briefly talked about it, I mean, Arsenal, and they've had a phenomenal season. They're on a 100-point run, which is historic in itself. If I'm Arsenal, I'm playing, and I understand that if I play my best team, and they go and try to smash City, and they lose, boy, oh boy, that's a hell of a bulletin board material that you just stuck on City's board. Because City, here's the funny thing, and you all have seen it. City looks bored. They're waiting for this game. They look bored. If Arsenal comes full guns blazing and lose, those league games, all they're gonna say is, you remember when Liverpool did the same thing? We have big footsteps that are following you. And I mean, would that be beautiful for the season to kind of run out that way? It would be. I mean, I'm not saying for the same result, but if you can keep it where it's 1 or 2 points the rest of the season, it would be absolutely beautiful. But I think Arsenal are going to play this one and kind of take whatever comes from this one. And I think the inverse is going to happen. I think they're going to smack Everton into Neverland because they want to go into that full form into the next game. I think the league means more to them at this point because the FA Cup is the Arsenal Cup. They've won it more than anyone else. And if they're going to choose, win the one we always win or win the one we want.
I think they want. I think they want them. I think they want both. I think they want all. I think they want all three. I think Arteta wants to put all three in London.
I agree, but I think if you have to choose and you say I play too much in my hand before the real game, because we're being honest, City showed when they played in the Carabao Cup that the domestic tournaments don't matter to them. They want to win the league and the Champions League. So are they willing to take a loss in this game to strategically understand what they're supposed to do against Arsenal? Yeah. And, I mean, obviously Guardiola's not going to play to lose, and none of the boys are going to play to lose, but they absolutely are going to be like, all right, we're not. In my opinion, I don't think they go full out. I think they're going to play. I mean, imagine me saying they're going to play a weakened team and what that looks like, right? So Phil Foden will start this game, right, and Bernardo will start the weakened team, and so the weakened team will play, and I think whatever the result is from that is what will lead them into the next one. Because if they lose to Arsenal, they're like, well, we're going for the league anyways. If they beat Arsenal, they're like, here we come. There's nothing for them to lose in this game.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So how do they start? Do you think Haaland starts? That's the question. Does Haaland play?
Yeah. He plays because Pep likes him to play. He plays all the time. He played
so
in the game.
Alvarez doesn't start over him?
I think he plays Alvarez together because the other thing that Pep is going to do, I think you game for, is for figuring out chemistry. Because you all have said it as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of tinkering going on, and he's trying to figure out chemistry. And what better team to figure out chemistry against the one that you're literally going for the big trophy for? Like, hey, let's figure out what we're going to do against them and see what we can do. Because, for example, I think Rico Lewis starts against Arsenal because I think they want him to feel that heat. Because if he feels it in this game, that means the league game is going to be nothing. And so I think he'll start there. I think they'll be dangerous, and they're going to start. What's the left back they just signed? What's his name? He's not really a good defender. What is his name? I can't remember.
That Arsenal just signed, or that City just signed?
City signed in the summer. What is his name?
Oh, that Gomez guy. Gomez.
Yeah, Gomez. I think he's going to start. I think he'll start Gomez as well.
I hope.
And, well, I mean, I think he's just trying to cut teeth with some guys.
The only time I've seen him, he was terrible.
Well, yeah, but he's an attacking fullback. And so I think what they're going to do is they're going to try to come at you because Arsenal is more. I'm not saying they're more aggressive than City, but this year they are. They're absolutely more aggressive than City is. And the Arsenal fan TV thing I sent you guys, it's true. They do a hybrid of the Liverpool press in their prime with the City possession. And I mean, even though Arsenal was the one who was doing possession first, but I think they're going to come out and match them because there's nothing to lose in this game. There's nothing for City to lose in this game.
I think
so you think it's the proverbial lose the war but win, no, lose the battle but win the war?
Well, if you think about it, if City lose this game and then go on and use what they learned from this game to win the league, did they win?
Well, yeah, lose the battle but win the war.
And I mean, if Pep wins the FA Cup and loses the league, what is Pep going to get from that? Nothing.
I think this is I think I'm on the other end of the spectrum on this one because I do think this is a nightmare if City lose this game. I think it is. I think it is for the mental mindset that City's already coming at this with. If they lose to Arsenal in the FA, they're already kind of on this uphill battle. You take this loss and it lets your guys know that there is an uphill battle. It's not just, there's a point spread. It's no, this team, we're not going to be able to shave points, or we're not going to be able to, maybe not shave points off. We're not going to be able to gain points on. Like, we're not going to take 3 from them is the sense. And you have to come into the league. I think your guys need it. I think Pep needs it because the recent run of form and where y'all are at for what's being said, I think it's getting to you guys a little bit. And it's not just like, oh yeah, feed the beast, Holland's not producing, or Holland had a little dry spell, whatever you want to call it, or the chemistry. A chemistry issue is what we've been talking about the entire time on the pod. You're exactly right. I think and that's why we see this tinkering from Pep, like who's going to produce the most. Yes, everyone here can produce, but how do we squeeze the orange just a little bit more to make sure we win the league with, we need 92 points if Arsenal's going to score on track for 90. And if you lose this FA Cup game, I think that it just puts that mental block in their head, or that mental mindset in their head that, oh my God, we lost to them once. You got to think, when we played in the Champions League final, we had played Man City like 4 times that season.
Yep.
Battles back and forth. We always kept it close. If you lose to Arsenal big, or if it's not a 1-0, if it's a 2-0, 3-0, if they command the game. There was not a game we played in that season that either one of us commanded the game. If they come in and command that game in the FA Cup like they have been, they treat that game like they did against United, even if it's close, they commanded that game. I think that's a mental. I just see that being more of a mental blow to them than it is an actual like numeric or on paper.
I'll come back to that because I'm gonna ask you guys a question. So the reason I say that I hear you, but then I'm gonna be honest. You all have played team sports, and you've been on a team where you're like, we're better than everybody else. Do you think City has ever walked on the field, on a pitch, ever, and especially this group of guys in the last 2-3 years, and thought any team was better than them? Probably never.
Maybe Real Madrid last year.
But even then, after they beat them, there's no team that they walked on the field and thought they were better. And so the reason I say that, I hear what you're saying. I don't. This team literally has enough bulletin board material of themselves, literally pulling themselves up by their bootstraps. I mean, they lost to Liverpool multiple times. That was the Book-a-Bear for 3 seasons, and every time walked them down. It was one time they didn't walk them down, and that's because Liverpool had to be lights out good that year. Outside of that, they walked everybody down because that man, who's the manager, refuses to let anybody have that mentality. And so while I hear you, this guy's a winner. And I just don't see him allowing that, because he just won't play those guys anymore. Those guys will never see the field again.
And that's pretty much what he said. That's pretty much what he just said, too, yeah.
And Jake, what do you... an example. When is the last... Cancelo was in crazy form. And then all of a sudden, he hung his head down. When's the last time you seen him get on the field? You just won't play.
Yeah.
He just won't play. So, I mean, I hear you, but he'll get rid of it. And the window's still open. And there was a rumor that they were thinking about selling Cancelo in this window.
Wow.
So,
Jake, how do you think Arteta and Arsenal attack this one? Do you think they go full strength and try to go for like a mindset of like, every time we play City, you're getting our best shot? Or do you think Arteta's like, if we give up the FA Cup, I at least have an idea of what I'm facing when it comes to what really matters, which is the league?
I think there's something to be said for Lewis's point just now about Pep being a winner. Where did Arteta come from? Where did he cut his teeth? So his mentality is, I think he wants to win every game. I think that this game is massively, massively important for the reasons that X was saying, that the psychological aspect of this game is big. And to your point, to your rebuttal of that point, Lewis, I think that it's more so because it's at the Etihad. If we go to City and beat you at your ground, I think that's going to have more of effect, even on these guys who are winners, who are consummate winners. I think especially because as much as I want to see gung ho, Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, Partey, Xhaka, as much as I want to see them, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think
Really?
that there will be some rotation. I think Trossard starts this game.
That's
Uh,
okay.
I
Trossard's
think,
a starting
yeah,
11 anywhere in a squad that's not your
I
main
think he'll
squad this
start.
season.
I think he'll start over Martinelli actually, and then
That's okay.
I wouldn't actually mind seeing Smith Rowe over Saka as well.
Smith Rowe's before he. I mean, you already know I like Smith
Yeah,
Rowe.
he's
I've
awesome.
always been
But
a fan of Smith Rowe.
if
Horrible injury. I hope he's okay after that injury.
he's coming back for sure. If Odegaard doesn't play, I'm worried.
Him or
Only
Yeah.
Partey.
only if Fabio Vieira comes in for him. If Emmy Smith Rowe plays the cam role and we have Saka in or Martinelli in with Trossard on the other side, I'm not as worried. I'm not really worried about it at all, to be honest with you, because that's a natural replacement for me. Even though Smith Rowe's come in and played on the wing because he can't not because there's not a person in this league that's knocking Odegaard out of his spot right now. On paper, maybe Kevin De Bruyne, but on form right now, there's not a player in this league as good as Martin Odegaard.
Y'all might have two
Yeah.
back-to-back player of the months for the Prem. Soccer's got a
Yeah.
huge amount of votes right now, and Odegaard won last month.
Crushing it because he's
Crushing
absolutely crushing it.
Crushing it.
I think that because there's no El Nini, I think we'll see Partey
Okay.
because El Nini's just, I don't know what's going on. I think he's injured. We're not sure for how long he's injured, but he might be back, but now he's injured again. Who knows? So because of all that going on, I think we'll see Partey. I also think we'll see Tierney and Tamiyasu, which is interesting because I think it'll change. I don't think that Tierney's never going to be that inverted Zinchenko type. Tamiyasu might try to do it from the other side to create that overload in the midfield. I think it's very interesting the way the personnel changes will change our tactical approach. If you remember how we played against United when we lost at Old Trafford, we sat back. We let them have the ball. So now that I'm thinking about it, that might be what we see. Arsenal may not, have 80% of the ball like we normally do at home because it's not at home, because it's away. And, not for nothing, last time we went to the Etihad, we took a 5-0 straight shellacking. So
Do you not think it's important for you? You see, and this is where I think my needle is more gauged towards Arsenal on this, and it's not because of. I think it's more important for you guys to keep winning mentally. It's the mental battle between these two squads that I'm trying to I'm not trying to get too caught up in it, but for me with you guys, it's you have to keep this mentality. You have not lost, you have not dropped, you have not you have to keep this momentum going. And if you take this loss to City again, that immediate doubt could be put into you guys' head. Oh my God, now here we go. Nope, we're going to start losing. We lost the game, we tripped, which your team hasn't shown because even when you go down in games, you come back, you find a way to win. But I think the mental blow that you would take from the loss would be haltering to the momentum that the club is exuding. Whereas the mental, I think it damages them just in the same way as in the sense of maybe these guys are running away. Maybe these guys are running away with it. And you don't want that in the back of your mind when you're, how many points off are you now, Lewis?
it's 5. I
5?
disagree, actually. I think the mental side of this, the psychological aspect of this, really only applies to the next City Arsenal game and then the next City Arsenal game. Say Arsenal comes in 2-0 City, blinding performance, dominates the game. I fear for the next team City has to play.
Exactly. But that's why I'm not even. I get your point about it being at home, but City has been so inconsistent. And another sort of thing that's there is like Ederson is not going to start. It's a cup game, so they're going to say, "Hey, our distributor, our keeper is not going to be there." Haaland will play, but I don't think he'll play the whole game. And I just think there will be so much change in there that I think it's just there'll be an inconsistency. Now, I mean, Pep has been almost impossible to read, so he may come out tomorrow and run. Now, one guy I know who is going to play is Mahrez. Mahrez is for sure going to play tomorrow. He's in such form. There's no way he doesn't play.
Yeah.
And if Arsenal does sit back and soaks it up, I don't know if they want to do that.
No.
Well, just like you're saying, Pep is tinkering. Arteta is also, how is Pep going to approach this game? He's also going to figure out, what's going to happen. But if you recall, even though we sat back versus United, we were the better team in that game. And we have shown this season that we can do that. We can counter and we can be deadly on the break. We do
most
have
definitely.
lightning pace, but to your point, X, we have, when we lost to United, the next game, what was it? What, I mean, every time we've stumbled, quote unquote, or dropped points, we've won the next game.
Yeah.
We tied Newcastle, or we tied Southampton, then we wrecked Wolves. We tied Southampton, and then we won the next game. So every time we've been hit with a setback, we've been able to come back. And just like you said earlier, if Arsenal do lose this game, we're gonna smash Everton. And it's at the Emirates. It's at the Emirates.
Right. It's at home.
They were going to smash them anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
No, there's just gonna be. It's just gonna be bullying at that point.
But if it's at the Emirates, and so there's just gonna be a morale raising demolition, even if we do take an L.
Right.
Well, I
our
think
game against Everton is in Liverpool.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay.
I think the one thing to kind of keep in mind is this, right? So, we talk about City chasing down Arsenal and the whole idea of the mentality of, well, if we don't beat them, then they beat us, then oh my gosh, what's about to happen? But you're talking about a team in City that knows how to win. So if they lose, yeah, that is somewhat of a mental break or a mental issue. But we're also talking about a very young Arsenal team. Very young Arsenal team. And they've been playing with a lot of confidence. And I'm not saying they would lose their confidence by any means, but their confidence is we're the best. And when they come up against a team that's equal to them or even better, and they get shown that, I think that's more of a mental issue that they're going to have to deal with going forward. And it's not going to affect them in the league in regards to teams they're better than, but it's going to affect them when they have to play City again. Because it's like, okay, these guys have already shown us that they've already can beat us once. You start to press, especially when you're younger, because you want to go and say, no, that's not true. That was just a fluke. And when you start to press is when you start to make you start to make mistakes. And that's what City, capitalizes on because they've got that experience. They've got that winning mentality. And I talked about it probably 8 pods ago now. But, the City mentality of being killers, that we haven't seen it yet. It's there. We've seen it before. We've seen them chase down Liverpool. And the only difference in this City team and that City team is Holland. I mean, pretty much it's Holland. So I think that's one thing to kind of keep in mind. That being said, I think this Arsenal team is gonna it's gonna be first off a great match, but I think this Arsenal team is grown up so much so fast that it won't affect them as much as I think it would. But I think it is something to kind of watch for if say they get beat 2-0. If it's like a 2-1, like, oh, okay, you can. But if they get 2-0 and they can't, score on the break or anything like that,
Mhm.
that kind of creeps into your mindset.
It's a funny thing. I was listening to an interview, and they were talking about Arteta and his rationale for bringing in Zinchenko and Jesus. And he said they're winners. And he said, and he gave an example. He said after that you guys, Arsenal lost the game to United, the first ones to talk to the boys were those two. And those two were like, hey, we don't get used to this. And I think that matters. And so that's where it goes to Patrick's point of, they're young, because if you don't have those two guys who won with this team they're about to play, I think it affects them. I think it's super important that there is a common thread that the manager is like, hey, I was there with those guys. What they're talking about is true. And I think that matters when they go forward. So I think Zinchenko starts the game too. I think it's super
Oh, yeah.
important. I think he's there because I think they need him to be sort of, even though he won't be the captain, he'll be kind of a rock there for them
He's
in
the
that game.
heartbeat.
Yeah.
He's the heartbeat.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Could you
silly as
imagine
that
that?
we love that guy, man. We love Zinchenko. You don't want him to win, but we love him.
Can you imagine what he said to them when they lost to United? He probably yelled at all of them like he does when they score a goal.
Oh, that.
Like
Yeah.
everybody's like, Zinchenko's so happy at the United game. I'm like, duh.
Duh.
It's blood to hate United. Like, look where he's been the last 5 years. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got some statistics for you. Right here says City have won 13 of 16 meetings with Arsenal in all competitions under Pep Guardiola. The only time that Arsenal have beaten City under Pep Guardiola is in the FA Cup.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal have won their last 4 FA Cups against City. We've reached the final every time we've done so.
Yep. I saw that
Winning
too.
on the last 3 occasions, including 17 and 20, our last 2.
Yeah.
But Man City have won 9 straight home FA Cup matches, scoring 40 goals in
Holy
time. The only team to have ever done this, scoring 3+ goals in every game between in the run, is Blackburn Rovers in 1881
There it is. There it is. That's
There
when
we
they won
go.
the UEFA
to 1885. Let's see.
or the European
doesn't
Cup
matter.
or whatever it used to be.
Riyad
Super Cup or
Mahrez
something.
has
Yeah.
been involved in 7 goals in his last 5 FA Cup appearances. And he's had a brace both of his last 2 games in the FA Cup at the Etihad.
Yeah, you got one against Chelsea.
His last
for sure.
one was against you guys. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
he got one against us.
Well, I told you he was playing.
Yeah, he's
You're-
playing for sure.
Yeah, that's why I brought
All
it
right,
up.
so predictions. What are we predicting on this one?
You're at home, you go first, Lewis.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be 1,000% honest, just for that. I think Arsenal's gonna win the game. I think it'll be 2-1. Now it's weird because people don't pick
yep.
it, but I think Arsenal will win the game 2-1.
Yep. That's what I have.
Man, it's about who plays. That's
It
Well,
is.
here. Yeah. I was about to say, yeah. Well, why don't we text when the lineup comes out? We'll just send.
I'm down for that. I'm down
test
for
it.
that because
The
I
thing
am.
is like City's second team could still make Champions League.
Yeah,
Of course.
You know, and
Hey,
so
our injury list could make Champions League.
even if Pep rotates, I think that against Arsenal, I think that Rodri still plays. I don't think Calvert Phillips has shown enough. No, I think Pep values the win, values the opponents more than the cup enough to play a strong midfield. Because if Odegaard plays, it's going to be tough in that midfield, even
Well,
with
Gundogan's gonna play. It'll if Rodri plays, Gundogan will play next to him. And De Bruyne is playing this game too. Like the midfield will probably be De Bruyne, Gundogan, and Rodri for sure.
So do you
It's what
think?
goes around.
Do you think they can handle Odegaard, Xhaka, and Partey?
They got four.
Think they're the right guy?
I think they'll be all right. I think they'll be okay.
2-1.
I still
think,
think Arsenal win the game. I still think they
2-1.
win though.
I don't know, man.
Either way, I think full squad or B squad. I think it's just 2-1. I think Arsenal takes this 2-1.
I'm gonna upset Jake here. I'm gonna go 3-1 City.
Jesus
Wow.
Christ.
Because it's at the Etihad.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
Odegaard doesn't play, I think that's the one. If Fabio Vieira is on this team sheet in the starting
Their
lineup,
midfield's gonna have a heyday.
it's not good.
No, their
And
midfield's gonna have a heyday.
If you see the name Lokonga in this team sheet,
It's over. Arteta's just giving it to him.
5-0 City.
If Thomas Partey is not in this game and Sammy Lokonga is playing is in the sixth role,
rolling it. Yep.
yeah, then you know that he watched the pod from a few pods ago. Where I was like, just take it. You can just have the cup.
Yep.
If that means we
The
get
league.
4 to 6 points in the league, I'm totally cool with that.
Yep. The
Totally
soccer gods might have heard you. Yeah.
I will take that. At the end of that, you could, but I think that Arteta is more on the mentality train, more on the,
Go
when you
for it.
try to build momentum, when you try
You don't want to halt it.
a winning season. I was listening to somebody that was talking today about how when you're trying to win that treble, when you're trying to win, multiple trophies, taking one loss at any point can be devastating. And I used to always remember how I would say there was always a time normally in early spring, knowing Arsenal, where I would be like, oh, well, summer started.
Well, now
Because we're out of the cup. We're out of the Champions League. We got no hope of winning this title, this league. We don't even have to worry about the rest of these games, because there was a spell where in Arsene Wenger's time where fourth place was wrapped.
Well, yeah, the difference between fourth and fifth.
We made Champions League for 17 straight seasons.
Yeah, the difference between fourth and fifth was like this big.
Yeah,
like that was wrapped. And so come February, 24th, after Messi's done putting 4 on us at the Camp Nou, it's just like, oh well, all right, Champions League's done. So we didn't really have a hope of winning that shit anyway. So we're summer's begun, whatever. But now when you look at it, it's like you don't want to lose any of those games. And I remember some of those times where we'd have an FA Cup match, and then then we'd have a round of 16 Champions League game, and then we'd play Chelsea in the freaking league on the next weekend.
The very next weekend. Yep.
And so then you'd lose the FA Cup, and then hangover, you're out the Champions League and the FA Cup, and then Chelsea puts a 3-0 on you at the Bridge, and you're just like,
I think
what
this momentum
just happened to the season?
I think this momentum means more to you. I think
Right.
that you have to keep this. You have to keep winning. You have to keep winning.
It's sort of like in the NFL, there's always the question of like that last week, like should they start when they've made the playoffs, like should they play the starters? Should they sit the starters? It's a mentality. You hear about, well, it's just a game. As a player, I would never want to lose. Never want to lose. And if I've got a coach that's like, well, this is more important. No, right now is more important. So and I think one thing that we talk about, Arteta coming from Pep and whatnot, but that just means Pep knows Arteta just as well, if not better. And he knows what, maybe Arteta knows what Pep's going to do, but Pep already knows how to counter it too. So that's going to be interesting to see. I'm just excited about it. I've already figured out my day for tomorrow, so I can watch because I gotta see it.
Well, here's another interesting thing that I heard. As far as Arsenal are concerned, what separates it from one of the things that separates the kind of dynamic for them from Man City is that if we're going to focus on, trying to focus on all three is going to be ridiculously tough of the competitions we're still in. But if we're going to focus on 2 of them, I think we're fortunate to be in Europa League. Because unless we just, have the worst luck possible and we draw Barcelona after they're done wiping the floor with United, or we draw United even, and we're gonna draw Midtjylland or some,
Block.
yeah, we're playing Mönchengladbach, you know.
Mönchengladbach, yeah.
It's like so if we're gonna rest players, I think the Europa League might be an opportunity, and so it might, go stronger in these other tournaments. Might be interesting. It's an interesting thing I heard earlier today. I was like, yeah, that's something that's true, because it's more likely that we're gonna face some second rate, I mean, and no disrespect to the Europa League, but we're not facing Bayern next week.
Ooh.
City, on the other hand, I know you're playing Leipzig in the Champions League, but like the next round, wow, it could be some real teams, and Arsenal aren't facing that, So I think Arteta is gonna. I think he's with you guys about this mentality thing where he wants to win. He wants to win. So while I don't think that, and we've seen it, I think from Arteta last season, he'll rotate, but it's not like he's not playing the reserve team.
Yeah.
So it's like it'll be a mixed squad. That's why I think Trossard might start. Honestly, I'd rather him start for Saka than Martinelli, and just wrap Saka in wool. Even though
Martinelli
I
didn't have that
suspect
great of a
Haaland
game
will
last
play as
time
well.
either. So
Say
he
what?
kind of needs Martinelli didn't have that great of a game last time. So he kind of needs to put a performance in. So I mean, maybe you do start him.
I think in the last game, the first couple of runs Martinelli had at Wan-Bissaka told him that Bissaka can keep up with him.
Mm-hmm.
And so he didn't try to go past him as much, and so I think it maybe kind of looked like Martinelli was kind of off it a bit, but I agree. I think he should play for sure. And I wouldn't even mind seeing Martinelli down the middle to give Eddie a rest. But I think Nketiah will play as well, to be honest with you.
I'm taking a look at
Haaland,
the Europa League. There's actually some good teams still left. I'm impressed.
Yeah, but it's nowhere near the caliber of teams in the
No.
Champions League.
Oh no, not at all. But I mean, you got Roma, you got Juventus. I mean, it's just names, but you're just looking and you're like, there's some good teams still. Ajax
still count.
Juventus, I'm not sure.
Juventus now.
They're like in ninth place.
They're like mid.
Well, I know.
Oh man. But
Who knows
anyway.
what's about to happen to them?
Yo, wild.
Who knows, man? That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't even know. Yeah. I don't know enough to even get into it. I just see a huge plume of smoke off in the distance.
Just Juventus on fire.
Letting you know that there's a huge fire in Turin, and it's
Wait, they have like one of the oldest stadiums. What's the stadium? They have one of the oldest stadiums.
No, they have a new stadium.
No, I guess their old one then. It was like Angel Park or something like. Hang on.
I doubt it's Angel Park.
No, it was something. It was something very obviously Italian.
I don't remember.
Well, okay. So we were talking earlier about mascots and whatnot. So, what is Grimsby Town known for? Not their mascot. What are they known for?
Being grim?
No, Harry the Haddock. Their mascot is the Mariners. And it's a fish, okay? And I was reading this on the the FA website, and they hold on, let's see, where's it at? Okay, all right. We are proud of the heritage we have as a club in the FA Cup. In the 30s, we reached the semifinals twice, and then in 1989, over 2,000 Harry Haddocks took over the terraces at Plough Lane. Grimsby Town CEO Debbie Cook said, "As this is the furthest we've been in the competition in almost a quarter of a century, we wanted to celebrate that achievement by encouraging fans to take Harry Haddock to Luton or Luton."
You gonna check that one out, Patrick?
I'm gonna have to. I'm sorry.
Grimsby
It's
game?
just gonna have to. Just gonna have to. I'm gonna have to find a way to find it.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. So they're gonna have like thousands of blow up fish.
That's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be awesome.
But
Think,
again, we're Team Sheffield Wednesday, y'all. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Because of the fish.
Yeah.
No, that's Grimsby Town. I'm just saying Sheffield Wednesday because Sheffield Wednesday is awesome. They played Fleetwood Town. You know, but Preston North End, let's go.
Definitely. I think
And it's at Preston North End.
Yeah, it is. I think at the end of the day, though, I'm gonna have to back Arsenal for the 2-1, just because I'm never gonna bet against the boys. But
of course.
But yeah, we'll go 2-1. There is another spicy game that's kind of flying under the radar. Brighton get another shot at Liverpool. It's another 3-0 for Brighton.
Yeah.
Another nice walk in the sunshine.
Another nice walk. Another nice day off for Liverpool is what that is.
I think Liverpool will win that one.
No
Think so?
way.
Yeah.
They've already gone to Brighton like last week and got beat 3-0.
Yeah,
You know what's crazy though? Even though Liverpool won the FA Cup last season, they will be aiming to reach the 5th round proper for just the 2nd time in the last 8 campaigns.
Good grief.
That's crazy.
That's interesting.
Really?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all they have left.
Right.
That's all I have left.
I don't know.
Have Brighton never beaten Liverpool twice? Yeah,
I
no.
don't know.
Never.
I think
I
Liverpool
mean, like
wins.
twice in a row. Never.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang.
It's tough.
There it is.
Something's gonna have to
Yeah,
happen.
you're right. Here it
Something's
is.
gonna break.
Here it says in the current format of the competition since 1925, only Wolves with 30, Sheffield with 28, and West Ham with 27 have suffered more 4th round exits from the FA Cup than Liverpool with 26,
Ouch.
losing 4 of their last 6 such ties.
That's wild.
Wild.
Absolutely wild.
Gonna lose another one.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
Let's
they
go
play
for it.
their
One can
strongest,
only pray.
I expect Brighton to play their strongest team as well.
Oh yeah. What's up, Mike?
I just don't see it being anything other than a repeat.
Did you see who won on Tuesday to play Leeds on Saturday?
Accrington.
Stanley.
Yo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Has Weston McKennie signed for Leeds yet?
No, I don't think so.
Is that going to happen?
It sounds like it. But, you know,
Leeds United States of America.
It's silly season, so you never know. I mean, Chelsea's linked with literally everybody at this point.
Oh no,
Yeah.
we're buying everybody. If they don't work out, we'll just
I
sell them
got
later.
a phone call from Todd Bowley just a little bit ago.
I don't play. I'm surprised I haven't yet. But no, I mean, Chelsea's literally linked with everybody at this point. So
Of course they are. They're going to buy the world.
hey, we
That
still
Clearwater
can't buy the world's greatest CDM though, and I'm very sad about that.
That's because he's hurt. He's on the bench.
Well, he would fit perfectly for us.
No.
I don't know, man.
Stop it.
Accrington. I don't know. Leeds look like Leeds are not doing great. Accrington might be
Marsh
up for
needs
this
it.
one.
Marsh needs it. At this point,
Yeah.
Jesse Marsh needs it bad.
Yo, if he loses to Accrington Stanley, he might be done. That might just be a shock. That just might be a shock sacking right in the middle of the FA Cup 4th round.
But it's interesting. Looking at some of these matchups, a lot of big teams are on the road.
It's Accrington, Lewis. Of course it'd be a shock.
I mean, we don't know. We don't know. It could happen. I live in the world that the most unexpected things happen because
Lewis is just betting on chaos at this point because that's all he's
I
got
am.
left. Because Arsenal's running away with this, so he's just expecting some chaotic mess, some Murphy's Law. If it can, it will, and just throwing it all in here.
I have yet to ever co-sign that statement, but yes, I have chaos.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
West Ham goes to
That would be a good
Derby
girl, so
County.
Hmm?
West Ham goes to Derby County.
Yeah, I feel like Derby might be another one of those places like Stoke where it's just like, man, I don't want to. We don't want to go there. We don't want to go there. I don't know. But yeah, Preston. That's who I'm cheering.
Preston North End. Let's go. But no, I mean, you look at some of these matches, and they're at least on paper they look fun. I mean, Reading to Man U, you know, you got Man U who they put a pretty strong side out against Forest. So what does Ten Hag do on a short turnaround? You know, because they play. Well, maybe it's not that short of a. Yeah, it is a short turnaround. They play Saturday.
They play on Saturday. Yeah, they played Wednesday.
So that's a 3-day turnaround. You know,
the best CDM in the world will play probably.
Yeah, he probably will. But I mean,
Because
you know,
can't drop him. Luke Shaw will probably come back in. They rested him against Forest because he got run so ragged versus Saka last Sunday.
He lost a lot.
So, but
he
yeah,
he should have faked a hammy.
Look out for Burnley in this FA Cup, man.
Oh yes,
Vincent Kompany's got them on track, man.
Ipswich Town.
They got like 50-something odd points halfway through the season already.
They are impressive. They play like a fulfilling games in championship, though, man.
Oh yeah,
that's true. That is true.
Yeah, I mean Ipswich is one of those old school teams.
Yeah,
that's right.
Way
Ipswich
back.
Town. No.
Yeah.
Do what?
I don't know, man. Burnley. Well, there's an old like you were saying, Patrick. Here's an old matchup of old Premier League teams: Blackburn versus Birmingham.
Birmingham City. I saw that one. I was like, oh, that would be fun.
The Rovers.
You got Sunderland versus Fulham.
I remember Blackburn Rovers had Brad Friedel.
I feel so bad for Sunderland.
Did you know Blackburn Rovers have won the Premier League? They're one of only they're one of like 7 or 8 teams that have actually won since 1991.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Alan Shearer played for the Rovers before he went to Newcastle.
That's wild.
Did you know Alan Shearer never won the league with Newcastle? He won with Blackburn Rovers.
That's wild.
Yeah. It's nuts.
The old wives' tales are if he had actually moved, he would have won more, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, you can't compare those two. Shearer has trophies, and
Shearer
has and like 100 more goals. Shearer has like 60 more goals and trophies. You can't. Get out of here, man.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
No, I think we started talking about the FA Cup the way we are, and we're breaking this down and looking at it. It kind of just, like I said, I want to watch. What was it? Oh gosh, what was it? Grimsby Town and Luton Town. I just want to,
I bet
I
you
have no
Sheffield game.
Sheffield Wednesday.
Versus Fleetwood.
Yeah, I mean Sheffield Wednesday should get to the 5th round.
I mean, I guess I don't know anything about either of those teams.
Well, Sheffield Wednesday beat Newcastle.
That's true. Didn't Stevenage? I see Stevenage beat a Premier League side as well, didn't they?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't remember. They got to go to Stoke.
Good old Stoke.
They got to go to Stoke.
Good old Stoke.
Man, I remember old Peter Crouch at Stoke City.
That guy was good.
Yeah,
man. He was good for a goal.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Old Peter Crouch.
He has like a really good podcast.
I know. I've seen that a few times. Yeah. He's been doing that for a long time too. Absolutely has. Yeah. That's a name out the memory banks for you. Let's see. Yeah, we've touched on I don't know, man. There could be some upsets.
Yeah.
Walsall versus Leicester. Brendan
Gotta
Rodgers.
circle that one.
Brendan Rodgers, he's doing some voodoo, so he probably doesn't even care what happens in this game. His job is safe. Yeah.
They beat the ones they're supposed to. I give them credit for that.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, if you look at this table right now, this is really flattering for Leicester. They've
Yeah.
had one good run in the whole season.
That's correct.
If you watch their games, man, they are so
They're bad. They're
bad.
bad. They're bad.
So
They're
bad.
bad.
Couldn't believe that Brighton dropped points to them last week. Like, Leicester are there for the taking, man. Let's go Walsall. I'm not even sure.
Stevenage beat
Rogers
Villa.
loses to Walsall. He still has a job. I don't
Of
Oh,
understand.
of course he does.
I'm not even sure I'm saying this. Saying it correctly.
Walsall.
Stevenage beat Villa.
There you go. Yep.
So I mean, you look down this list, and there's a lot of smaller clubs, and you just want to pull for them, And I think I'm actually really also interested in this Southampton Blackpool match, because if I remember right, Blackpool's like scoring a lot of goals this year.
They've been struggling of late, as far as I know, as far as I've heard.
Really?
But I do like Charlie Patino is an Arsenal youngster who was sent out on loan to Blackpool, who's having a good season there. So that's about as far as I know for Blackpool. But there's been talk that we might recall him due to the El Nini injury.
Oh, really?
Might bring him back as a midfield backup. I just think he's young. He's like 17. I saw him play in preseason before the loan. He's decent, but he's small. He's a real small one. He's one of those midfield maestro, real short guys. But
we can't underestimate people because Manchester United has the greatest center back
Oh my God.
in the world, and you match him with the greatest holding midfielder in the world, and then size does not matter. That's what she said.
that was epic.
So, I was a little wrong on Blackpool. They're a little bit down the table. They're actually they're 23rd.
Oh my God.
23rd? How many
23rd out of 24 teams.
How many?
Oh,
Oh,
no.
wow. They're going to get relegated from the.
Oh,
Wow.
no. Take back everything I said.
Not good.
Well, here's the thing, though. In the Premier League, everybody's really close. Wigan, everybody's favorite team, Wigan, it's got 25 points in 24. Blackpool's got 26. Huddersfield Town has 26. Cardiff City has 29.
How many games
So,
did they play?
how many games have they played? Wigan's at 28, Blackpool's at 27, and Huddersfield Town is at 26.
Oh, I'm telling you though, they want to make it all interesting. The winner of the FA it's an automatic bid to the UEFA or to the Europa. That's what it should be.
Europa League.
That's what it should be.
That's basically what happens. I know it's not direct, but I feel like that's basically what happens any dang way.
Yeah.
Old Sheffield United might make it up. They're only 5 points back from Burnley.
Yeah, that championship, man, is so tough.
Fulfill your
I
names.
feel so bad for Sunderland. Like,
It's one of those. Yeah, it's another one of those.
They're
clubs.
ninth.
They used to be clubs, man.
they're never like it's almost like they're never gonna get back
I don't know.
like to the Prem.
Those Sunderland
Listen-
Newcastle games back in the day, man.
Used to be
They were
wild,
wild.
man.
They were
The
wild.
the Stadium of Light, like, oh man, they have a beautiful stadium, ninth
this is
largest
the-
stadium in England.
You look at the top 12, and this is literally all former Premier League teams.
Prem,
You've got Burnley, Watford,
Yep.
Norwich City, Middlesbrough, of course Sunderland, West Brom, Swansea
West
City,
Brom.
Swansea.
QPR, Reading, Hull City.
QPR.
I hate
QPR.
Ah,
They
everybody
gave
hates
City the
QPR.
They
lead.
gave City a
They
title.
gave City the
They
lead.
gave Sergio Aguero
Gave
a
City the
title.
lead.
QPR can burn to the ground.
They can burn.
Yeah, that was disgustingness.
Gave them the league.
But I will say my favorite memory of Sunderland is in the 2011-2012 season when we scored a goal. It was away to Sunderland. We scored in like the second minute, and then they equalized not long after, and it was just a battle. And we needed the points too, like really, really bad. It was an absolute dogfight. And then Van Persie steps up in the 93rd minute and hits an absolute banger for the free kick
Goals
to
of
win
Van
the
Persie.
game.
Yeah.
Man,
Nice.
2012, Van Persie put us on his back and got that fourth place. Literally by
100%.
So good looks to Sunderland, man. I that's what I remember about it. Oh man, yeah.
By the way, I have to laugh as I was looking at Blackpool's website. They have something called Tangerine TV, which I mean is like, Arsenal TV, Chelsea, all that, but it's Tangerine TV, and I don't know why, but that just
Are they the
made me giggle.
tangerines?
Yeah,
Is
they're
that their-
tangerines. Yeah,
Like the Bournemouth cherries?
I think so. Yeah,
Wow, great.
Makes
I
sense to
know,
me.
right?
Well, time is wearing on, and I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Man City Arsenal, round 1 of 3
Here we
this
go.
season.
Here.
I am absolutely
we
pumped
go.
for it. I think it's going to be a wonderful game.
100%.
Should be a cracker. I
I think
think
it's gonna
both
be
are going to go for it.
a banger.
So it's going to be fantastic.
So
Fantastic.
are we gonna do a pod to discuss all the transfers that Chelsea does over the next 5 days?
That'll be a
Yeah,
whole
so
pod.
on transfer deadline day, we're just gonna do an all-day pod where we just watch Bowley. We'll do a review show for the Bowley Shore.
You know how many players he's gonna try to sign to 8-year deals before they close this little gap
All of
window?
them.
Dude,
All
FIBA
of them.
financial
All of them are
fair
getting
play
6 more.
deals, they're closing the loophole just because
After-
you're the
after
only
this
team that's
window.
doing that. You're the only team that's doing that.
Yeah, that's because Boyley was the only one to
No,
figure
someone
it out.
else did it too. Someone else did it too. I can't remember who it
Trying that
was.
Barcelona probably.
No,
Barcelona.
not
They still don't
Barcelona.
pay
No.
for
It was
players.
somebody in the Premier League. Somebody in the Premier League did it too. I can't remember who it was. I'll have
Well,
to go back and look.
we'll definitely be back after the
Oh,
FA
yeah,
Cup.
absolutely.
Back on Monday, Tuesday, something like that. So go ahead and make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, get the notification bell on our next video. Again, like I say, will be that FA Cup review. Thanks for listening. Hope you have a wonderful evening.
Bye, guys.